Did you guys really think in that last episode I showed you everything coming in the 1.6 update? No. I got a few more cool things to show you guys. This new update is going live on January 15th, 2021. All right, first up, we've got this massive store. I'm really happy with how this one came out. It's just above Bridgeport, in between the harbor and the town. It overlooks the creek next to Bridgeport, and it looks really cool. It's also got quite a lot of these big green neon lights, and I really wanted to put quite a lot of these in to really show off how all of these parts are kind of this new future tech in the world of Hydroneer. All the items are kind of split up into two sides. On the one side we've got all the logic stuff, and the other side we've got the power stuff, to make it a little bit easier to understand the massive amount of new items. I think I counted it the other day and it was something like 40-ish new items in the update. So be prepared to be overwhelmed with all the cool new things that you're going to be using in the new update. And one of these really cool new items is the Smelter. So the Smelter takes damage. It requires power and logic both to work. It's quite simple to use, and it really does help out with adding smelting into the automation process. Before the other smelter, you just click the smelter every time you wanted to use it, as well as put your own resources in there. The conveyor belts were all right to kind of throw things into the smelters. You had to use a funnel above it, but this one works a lot better. So starting off, when it is powered, it has these 4 different flames. Anything that enters the top bucket part of the smelter will then be melted down. When you're happy with all the resources in there, you can pass in a logic value of 1, and that will make the bucket activate, and it will open its little flaps. The ores will pour through down into the mold in the bottom. And then once the bar is created, it'll lift up that bar and pass it onto a nearby conveyor belt, bucket, or whatever you want to put in there. You could probably even back up your truck in there so it lands straight in the truck, but that's up to you guys to figure out how to make it work. With this new update, there's loads of creative different things that you can do, and I'm really excited to see the kind of creativity that people are going to be coming out with. Once you're finished, you pass a value of 0, and then it will close the doors, light the flames back up, and be ready to be used again. The Smelter is a really cool addition to this update, and I'm really happy to be adding smelting into a more automated state. Let's talk about the next thing I'm going to show you guys, a powered magnet. Now, for a while I've wanted to do this, but whenever I touch any of the code with magnets, it does get a little bit fucky. Everything kind of just gets messed up whenever I touch the magnet code. It isn't too great, so I've had to go in there and redo a bunch of stuff, and it fixed a bunch of these bugs that we were seeing when I first implemented the magnet, which I'm really happy to get rid of, because it did really hurt my brain trying to figure that out. It was mainly the interactions between if you were already had one of the magnet on the stick items and you were carrying an object into the radius of this magnet, it would kind of mess things up, but that's all taken care of. Now, let me show you a really cool use of this one magnet. Basically, if you have 2 conveyor belt lines and you wanted to move all the items from one conveyor belt line onto the other one, then what you could do is power on this magnet, and it would suck all the items from one belt and pull it all the way over to itself. And using a delay node, you can drop the power going into the magnet to make the resources drop onto the new belt and send them on their way. This is just one use of what the magnet can do, and again, I'm really looking forward to seeing what players come up with. So with this update, there's these 2 new aesthetics that are coming with the game. We've got the power line and the logic cable. And I really like the way these look. They look really cool when you've kind of got them scattered all over your base and you're kind of trying to hide them between walls and stuff. I find it really interesting the way that, because the game only allows you to have straight, bent, and T-pipes, that players sometimes have to make things a little bit out of whack to make it work. I feel like giving players a bit of a design challenge with actually placing things down adds for a more interesting gameplay. With these new pipes, there is a new tool which you can use just on the logic and the power ones. It doesn't work for the water pipes because it didn't really match that aesthetic too well. We've got this tool called the Leg X. When you use it on one of the new pipes, it'll throw out these legs which will attach to anything nearby. So if you've got a really deep hole and you've got some logic or power lines going through it, you can use the Leg X tool to throw some legs attaching onto the walls. The legs will come out in 4 separate ways depending on what it is touching. This thing should make your bases look a lot cooler, and I think it's a really nice addition to the game. Something that I talked a little bit about in the episode 2 months ago with the addition of new carts. I didn't actually have any of the models ready, but now I do, to show you the brand new 3 carts that we have. First off, we've got the standard cart. It's pretty standard. What else can I say? We've got a faster cart and a more agile cart. Now, to add in these carts, it really made sense to actually nerf the pallet a bit more. So with the pallet, you now cannot sprint and you walk a tiny bit slower while carrying it. This makes the carts a lot more viable to use. You can stack as many things into the cart as possible, like the truck. They don't have collision, unlike the pallet, but they also have a benefit over the pallet where the items are held behind you, so they're not in your viewport while moving around the game like you have with the pallet. And of course, as I mentioned before, there is an entirely new store with these carts in. Players starting a new game will actually get the cart as well for free. It will spawn with the bucket, the pan, the brush, everything you guys know over by the rock in the starting lot. And that brings me on to the next point. Can I interest you in some real estate? Here at Foulball Hangover, we've got 4 lovely dig sites for you to buy. We've got cheap ones with water in the bottom of them, old mining quarries, ones with spectacular views. Call the number on screen now, and with every inquiry, we'll give you a free pen. So every plot of land now has got these new nice signposts so you can see where you are, and it helps with players exploring using the map. One thing also to note is that direct quarry has had a bit of a change. Now the entrance is a lot lower, so you don't have to drive up and down that really big hill. Makes it a lot easier to use the quarry. Another really cool thing that I'm super excited about is that Hydroneer has come 2nd place in IndieDB's Indie of the Year award. Recently I put a video out asking for some votes, and I was very happy to win the 2nd place prize in this award. A pretty awesome feeling winning an award, and I really appreciate all of the votes, and also I appreciate everyone who's gone ahead and left a review on Steam. That stuff really does help out small development studios like mine. Thank you very much. Also, I want to mention that always all the money going from my Patreon goes to the community helper team. You get to watch these videos a little bit earlier than anyone else if you're signed up on my Patreon, and also support the community helper team who do a lot of work in the community helping out new players and creating guides. Thanks for watching everyone, and I will see you all next month.